hobby, which is largemouth bass fishing. So just a little bit of how I began fishing. I've been doing it since I can remember. Ever since I come from a small town called Effingham County, Georgia, and there's really not much to do other than fish and hunt and stuff like that. So ever since I could walk, my mom and dad had me outside fishing. And really, I grew up saltwater fishing, but now my favorite is freshwater largemouth bass fishing, which I didn't even start until my sophomore year of high school. And I actually learned from YouTube, which shows that really anybody that has an interest can do it. So what you'll need to go largemouth bass fishing, you're obviously going to need a rod and reel because you really can't do too much without that. And I like using an open-faced, lightweight rod and reel because you can move the worm a little bit better and it's easier to get a strike from the bass. You're going to need braided fishing line because that's the best type of line there is when it comes to bass fishing. And you're probably going to need a lot of it because you're going to pop your line a lot on stumps and stuff like that. I have on here a 1/4 ounce bullet sinker. Really, you can use other sizes than a 1/4 ounce, but a 1/4 ounce is going to be the best one. It's going to give it the best drop when you throw it in the water, and bass just love the 1/4 ounce sinker. You're going to need a 3/0 hook. 3/0 is kind of like a medium size hook. It's about like this, and it's perfect size for a bass because it's big enough to where the bass won't just slip off of it, but it's also not too big to where the bass can't get its mouth around it. So that's what I've always used my entire life, and that's the best one. And I have on here soft plastic artificial bait. Really, there's thousands of different baits that you can use for bass fishing. My favorite is the soft plastic artificial bait, and it's the most common, it's the easiest to use. But really, it just depends on the time of year that you're fishing and what you're trying to catch and what kind of bait you need to use. Some tips for success when it comes to bass fishing. First one is be confident. You have to be confident when you go out there, or you're probably not going to have too much luck. If you go out there and you just think that you're not going to catch anything, then even if you do catch something, you're never going to be happy with what you do, so you're just not going to enjoy it. I talk to people all the time that say that they just don't like fishing, they don't have the patience for it. That's because they go out there and think that they aren't going to catch anything, so they just don't have a good time. You need to know the seasonal patterns. So largemouth bass, they don't just stay in the same place all year. For example, in the spring, they'll be up the streams, on the different rivers and stuff, along the banks laying their eggs. And that's honestly the best time to fish. You'll catch the biggest bass right there. And it'll be all shallow water fishing. But as the water warms up and it turns into summer, they're going to go out to the main river, a little bit deeper water, and that's where you're going to catch the most fish. You don't want to just reel the lure in. I've been fishing with a lot of people, and sometimes they'll just start reeling the lure in all the way up to the boat thinking the bass is going to hit it. It's not going to work like that. You need to try to pop it off the ground, off the bank, and when you do that, it'll also create a reaction strike from the bass. So if you pop it a few times, the bass will always get defensible, and it'll just turn around and bite. Try to fish in shallow water first. If you do that, you're going to have the most success because usually that's where you catch the most fish, is in shallow water. It's easier to fish in shallow water. You don't have to use as much technique, and that'll just get your confidence up to go out in deeper water and catch bigger fish. You need to throw your lure around different objects in the water. So if there's a tree or a stump or something like that in the water, that's going to be best to throw it around because fish just hang around stuff like that, especially a shaded area with lots of vegetation. That's going to be your best place to fish. And the last one I have on here is have fun because if you don't have fun out there, then there's no point in fishing at all.